What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what it takes to scale to 100K per day. So now before I hop into the video, I wanted to quickly announce the winner of the last consulting call giveaway. So I'm going to put the winner somewhere over here. So if this is you, please DM me on Instagram at ecommerce_Kyle so that we can book your free consulting call ASAP. If you're interested in winning one of these free calls with me yourself, all you got to do is like this video, make sure that you're subscribed, and leave a comment down below. And one more thing, don't forget to join the Ecom Tide Facebook group linked down below this video. So with that out of the way, let's hop into the video.
Most of the time when these people be talking, I don't even hear them.
All right, so before we get into the bread and butter of this video, I just wanted to show you guys the actual sales figures so that you know that I'm not BSing you. So as you can see, we started the store right around October 7th, and starting from October 7th to November 15th, we were looking pretty good, right? We were slowly on an upward trend. For the last couple of days of this kind of phase, we were scaling a little bit more aggressively. I think we took it from maybe 3K a day to close to 15K a day in just a few days. Now, during this time, it was very important for us to implement our Google ads, our Facebook ads, and get everything to be consistent. Even though it wasn't looking amazing in the beginning, push through a period of not as profitable so that we could get to the point where we were at 25-30% margins. Now, as we approached November 15th, we thought everything was going smooth. We expected this to continue to go up, and fortunately, we were able to get a relatively quick solution. But I always recommend that you have backup processors and that you're very communicative with your existing processors going forward, especially if you plan on scaling past 10, 20K a day. So as you can see, from November 1st to November 24th, a good portion of November, as we were preparing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Q4, Christmas, all of this good stuff that was coming up, and we had the perfect product to sell during that time, we experienced a hold. So that's why you see this climb right here, and then this decline all the way back to only about 1K a day. Now, we had maybe 60K held, and we ended up getting it held for almost 180 days. No, we weren't using PayPal. This was actually with a merchant processor with a bank of my business partners. And needless to say, we're never going to be using that bank again. Now, once we solved that issue, we dealt with past orders that we weren't able to pay with our previous revenues. We're able to acquire some capital and some cash flow, a new processor, and literally within a week, we took the store from 1K a day to just about 30K a day, I believe. And this was, again, right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This might have actually been after Black Friday and just 2 days before Cyber Monday. And so we weren't even able to capitalize on Black Friday as much as we had hoped, but at least we got the store back up and running. We had a good processor, we were very communicative, and we had the cash flow and the data to really start to scale hard. And then as you can see, in December, we did pretty well. We did about 1.5 million, and the majority of it was actually in the first 2 weeks of the month. And yes, I'll just refresh this for you guys because apparently I'm this genius magical coder that knows how to fake refresh screens, or I'm stealing someone else's store. But just for all of you guys who are skeptics, as you can see, we did on Cyber Monday, I think we did 54,000, so close to 55,000. And we didn't really expect it to push too far past that, but we pushed the limits. We were aggressive with our budgets. We weren't wimping out. And we ended up being able to push past that, even beyond Cyber Monday. So a lot of people think that Black Friday, Cyber Monday are these two huge days of the year where they're the only days where it's possible to hit maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a day. But in reality, it's not, right? Those are just days where you can promote sales and where people have kind of higher buyer's intent. That's why you see a little spike and then a little dip, but then we pushed past that. And so again, the majority of our sales came from November 24th to December 24th, I believe. So in about 30 days, we did just over $1.6 million. All right, so now I'm gonna go a little bit behind the scenes on what it took to scale to 100K per day. It's a little bit different than just scaling to maybe 5 or 10K a day, but it's not that much different. All right, so first is our product. We were selling a kid's toy, and we knew we were approaching the holidays, so it was a really good time to start selling those types of products. It didn't solve a problem. I want to stress this because your products do not have to necessarily solve a clear problem in order for you to be profitable with them, although it does help if they do solve a problem, because there's a very big difference between products that people need and products that people want. But in our case, we were still able to scale pretty significantly just with a product that people wanted. We had mass market appeal. It was a product that appealed to many different ages, and it also had a huge audience size, so we knew we wouldn't have too much trouble when it came to market saturation. Now, there were absolutely no Amazon listings for our product, and there might have only been one Google Shopping ad, so we knew that the competition in those areas was very minimal. And although we didn't sell on Amazon, we did intend to sell on Google, and we just wanted to cross-check multiple platforms to make sure that there wasn't too much market exposure already for these products, because we wanted to be closer on the front end of these products instead of just catching the tail end of a trend. And lastly, we had a relatively high order value to the base price of our product, and so we had 3 variants. Our smallest variant was $20, and we actually had an average order value close to $45 to $50, I believe, for the majority of the time we were selling the product. So a lot of people were buying more than one product, and people were opting into our upsells and cross sells. And we also had 70% gross margins, so this means that we right around tripled the cost of our product to put as our selling price. So now a little bit about our website. We were very unique, and we took a more branded approach. It was a one product store, and we really wanted to make it seem like that was the only place that you could get our product. So let's say we were selling the Pour vacuum cleaner. We essentially had pourvacuum.com. That's how good our website domain was, and it really helped when it came to Google SEO. We had a unique custom developed Shopify theme. It was a premium theme that was developed by 2 guys in the Netherlands, I believe, and all we did was spin off of the theme that they created, the skeleton, and we just added some extra stuff using our custom theme developer. And now, although we didn't change much, we changed things that did have a significant impact. So I highly suggest that you experiment around with a lot of different premium themes, because regular, basic, boring, free themes are going to make you look like a lot of other dropshipping businesses that people might not have had a good experience with in the past. So the more unique that you can be to other businesses, usually the easier it will be to convert customers. And although we did have a lot of apps, I just wanted to talk really quickly about probably the 2 most important apps we had, which were our quantity pricing app and the pre-purchase upsell app. If we didn't have these, we probably would have missed out on more than half of our total sales, because almost every customer opted into our upsell because of how complementary it was to our main product, and so many people bought more than 1 unit at a time. So getting into our marketing, we started off very slow cold testing with Facebook. We didn't do much. We weren't hitting some amazing KPIs, but it checked off all the boxes that we look for when it comes to a successful product test. Then we started integrating some Google Shopping and some search campaigns, and we found out that they were creating a lot of stability. So whereas with Facebook we had a lot of inconsistencies, we had a lot of consistency and scalability when it came to Google, and much higher profit margins, which allowed us to take more risks on Google as we went along. Google accounted for about 15% of our revenue, whereas Facebook accounted for about 75% of our revenue, but our ROAS was higher on Google, and our Google data helped a lot when it came to scaling our Facebook ads. And our last 10% came from emails. Now knowing what I know now and working with the people that I currently work with, we could have easily bumped those up to maybe 20 or 30%, but that's a story for another time. And omnipresence really allowed for an efficient recirculation of data. Now imagine you get a Facebook ad for a Pour vacuum cleaner because you were just talking to your Aunt Cindy on how bad your blackheads are, and you get a Facebook ad. You're gonna scroll through that Facebook ad, maybe look through the website, and if you like it or you don't like it, you're still gonna probably cross-check Google to see if there are other websites that sell the same product, maybe cheaper or that are maybe have a better branded experience, whatever it may be. You're gonna go and search Google. So some of our customers who saw our ad on Facebook, who might not have been as confident to make a decision, went over to Google and searched our product, and we ranked #1 virtually everywhere for that product. Now that omnipresence is a huge reason why we were able to convert so many customers from Google, and Facebook and Google worked hand in hand because all of that leftover traffic we were still able to bring back and recirculate back to our website for the customer to make a purchase on our website. And customers that also searched on Google and abandoned their checkout and didn't make the decision on the spot were retargeted on Facebook. So they really did work hand in hand. So some of the problems we faced were we had a 60K hold for 180 days. Again, this was not PayPal. This was a local bank merchant processor, and we didn't do enough due diligence in communication and vetting out other processors and having backups in place. Initially, our product quality wasn't amazing, and we were having a lot of shipping delays because we were getting close to the holidays. And again, we didn't do our due diligence when it came to cross-checking our logistics. Our product packaging was definitely not the best. A lot of orders ended up getting delivered to customers that were damaged, and so we had to refund or resend them new orders. And so I'll talk about the solution to this problem a little bit in the next slide. And lastly, we had a low Facebook feedback score. We had customers that weren't happy with our original logistics and our product quality and the shipping speeds and all of those things. And so we obviously had to do something before we scaled massively to fix these problems. So now the first solution to our capital cash flow hold problem was that we reached out to a friend of ours who had a very high credit line, who happened to be very experienced in e-commerce, and that we thought could potentially save our business from missing out on the rest of Q4. Now, I only advise that you use credit in your e-commerce business when you are profitable. It is not a good idea to take out a $2,000 or a $4,000 credit line and use it on product tests if you're not guaranteed to kind of make that money back. But if you're positively cash flowing, using credit is a great way not only to get extra income and to get a bunch of travel points. I think we racked up well over 1 million travel points just with this business, not to mention probably tens of thousands of dollars in cash back. But again, as a way to supplement our spend, even if our revenue was delayed by a few days, especially at those higher revenue days like 100, 120K, it really helped out. We got a new, reliable, and communicative payment processor. And what I mean by communicative was not that they reached out to us 5 times a day, but that when we reached out to them 5 times a day, they were picking up, they were understanding, and they were very appreciative of our transparency in letting them know that we were going to scale, asking if we can provide information like our tracking numbers and all that stuff in advance so that we didn't experience any problems down the road. Now, for our product, we switched suppliers, we enforced strengthened packaging, and we used some alternative and faster shipping lines. Now, this was so important because a lot of our issues were not product quality, but a damaged product on the way to the customer, whether they were damaged in transit. Now, this was so important, the strengthened packaging, because 90% of our customer issues were that the product had a little dent in it or was bent on one side or whatever it may be. So we had to fix this. And so what we literally did with our new supplier was we had them take a video of themselves repackaging the product, throwing it across the room, and proving to us that the product wasn't damaged. If it can withstand being thrown across a room or hit with a hammer or whatever it may be. So if they could survive those tests, we knew they could survive coming from China to whatever country we were delivering them to in the safest means possible. We had 5 customer service employees. Now, looking back, we might have been able to hire even more than this, but we were able to sustain 5 40 to 60 hour a week customer service employees in order to maintain a positive customer experience and make sure that any problems that customers have were getting addressed within just a few hours maximum. And we also had 2 full-time comment moderators. So I don't see a lot of people taking advantage of this, but when you think about it, even when you're at a few $1,000s a day, if you get 1 or 2 bad comments on your ad that stick for an hour or 2, or maybe when you're sleeping, they stay for even 4, 5, 6 hours, customers might make the decision not to order based off of a previous comment. So you need to make sure that someone or 2 people or 3 people are always hawking your comments and that it's not just you, because it will save you more money, or it'll make you more money than whatever you have to pay for people to moderate them. And we used 2 business managers on Facebook, and multiple pages, but we eventually got shut down. So we did have a short-term solution to our feedback score issue, but it was not a long-term solution. Now, fortunately, now I do have a consistent long-term sustainable solution for Facebook feedback scores. I might cover another video, I might not, because I've had to pay a lot and spend a lot and learn a lot in order to acquire these things. So it's kind of my secret sauce, but who knows? I might reveal it to you guys. Now, just some of the takeaways from this business that you should go ahead and implement into yours if you meet your product testing KPIs. The product looks good and it looks fairly promising. Number one, scale aggressively. You can always scale down, but you can't always scale up. Now, the first product I ever scaled past 6 figures, I really did learn this lesson, because when I would try to scale and the margins would decrease, I would get a little bit frustrated or a little bit annoyed. And so I would just scale back down to the numbers where I was at. But it was one time where I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna bump these budgets up and I'm gonna sacrifice some margin that I was able to get past 10K a day. And even though I went from maybe 2 or 3K a day at 20% margins to maybe 10K a day at 10% margins, I was able to get past that and recoup those margins once I got past 10K a day. And I never would have been able to do that if I was so cautious about the percentage of profit I was making. It's all about the dollar profit that you bring home at the end of the day. If you are profitable, you should be scaling and pushing the limits until you're literally not profitable anymore, or until margins dip significantly. Because it's a lot easier to go from 5K a day at 10% margins and scale down to 1K a day at 30% margins than it is to scale up past 5, 10, 15K a day. So when you have the opportunity to scale, take it, because you'll always be able to work backwards and scale down, but you won't always have the opportunity to scale a product up. Number 2, you need to test creatives, test landing pages, test price points, different upsell products, cross sells, email offers, all of these different things you need to test. You might even need to test themes. You might even need to test URLs, Facebook pages, things of that nature. But if you are finding any flaw in the area of your funneling process or your sequence or any area of your business, you need to do your best to isolate that. And the only way to isolate it is to split test different things. So test a lot, find where your business is lacking and fix it, fill in those gaps. Number 3, focus on your business's infrastructure. So have backup ad accounts, have omnipresence on multiple marketing platforms so that you don't have all of your eggs in one basket. If you're running all of your ads on Facebook and Facebook decides to just take a dump on all of your accounts one day, it can screw up the momentum, or your feedback score goes below a 2 and you lose the opportunity to advertise at a reasonable cost. So make sure that you're running ads on Pinterest, Google, Snapchat, maybe even Bing, just TikTok, all of these other platforms that you have the opportunity to bring your brand's presence on and show a unique type of customer on those respective platforms. Take advantage of that opportunity. Number 4, be patient if the metrics look good in the beginning, right? But you don't want to force a product. So what I mean by that is, if you meet all of your KPIs with flying colors in the beginning and you see a couple days of, turbulence or some turmoil where you just need to let it play out for a few more days, you need to be patient. You need to let it play out for at least a few more days. It might even take a week or 2 to really get traction and to start to level out and be consistent. And again, going back to omnipresence, the more marketing platforms you bring in, the more consistent usually your sales are, because you have one that might be dominant that brings a little consistency that allows you to take risks in the other main marketing platforms you might be using. So it's very important to, again, be patient if all of the signs look good and the metrics look good in the beginning, because some products just take a little bit of time to kind of warm up and get used to your audiences and build up that pixel data. Lastly, order samples and eliminate any logistical and quality inefficiencies fast before you scale. Right? If we had known this, we probably would have saved maybe $50,000 or $100,000 worth of disputes and chargebacks and refunds that we had to offer because of little things like a corner being bent or a missing piece of the package, whatever it may have been. And I don't want to hear the excuse, oh, I don't want to wait 3-4 weeks to get my product, because by the time I have to wait for it to get to AliExpress to me, there's going to be other people that already hop in and scale it up. So I can't test the product quality. I'm just going to sell it. And if it does sell well, then I'll maybe get a sample later on. Don't have that mentality. There's a solution to every problem. If you think that it's going to take 3-4 weeks to get your order, then you haven't reached out to enough suppliers, because you're going to be able to find a supplier who can put your package or your sample product on a plane that has DHL shipping, and DHL shipping is like 3 to 7 days usually. So there's literally no excuse. You can get your product. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on another website, or you can reach out to your suppliers and pay a little extra to get your product in a timely manner, so that you can make sure that you test it and that it's actually good quality and it is getting to you in a reasonable time if you're going to be consistently using that same carrier. Otherwise, it's worth literally spending even $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100. It would have been worth for us to spend $1,000 just on the shipping to get the product to us within 4 to 7 days, so that we can spot out those inefficiencies in product quality, or to spot out the inefficiencies in shipping, right? I always suggest that every now and then you order a sample from your own website and disguise as a customer, because sometimes your supplier will prioritize your order and prioritize your packaging and your product's quality if you ask for a sample, instead of actually ordering it maybe through AliExpress or doing a test order through your own website. If you are curious, yes, the profit was above 20%. I believe it was right around 23, 24%. This is including chargebacks, refunds. So after all was said and done, we walked away with about 25% margins. If you guys got a ton of value out of this video, not only do I want you to like it and comment, I want you to share this with any of your entrepreneurship friends. Give them a little bit of motivation to show what is possible, not only in this industry, but in many other industries. Not every month is going to be a 7-figure month. Not every month is going to be a 5-figure month, but it's possible to achieve those things if you grind your face off and you are patient and spend a lot of time learning the necessary valuable systems that are required to get to this point. And do not set your standards to 7 figures a month. Set them to 8 figures, 9 figures. You have to shoot for ridiculously high numbers, because number one, someone else is always doing more than you, and there's always opportunity to learn and to scale further. And number two, most of what you have not achieved yet is due to your mindset. I'm going to repeat that. Most of what you have not achieved yet is due to what's up here. It's not due to your capital or your current situation or a lack of finding a winning product when it comes to what is possible. And you need to break through those barriers and not place a ceiling on your potential. So I wish you guys nothing but the best during this upcoming Q4. If you need any advice or tips or whatever it may be, again, leave a comment down below. You can message me at ecommerce_Kyle, and please bring in some video ideas, because I want to help you guys as much as I can, especially in these upcoming months. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.